Aditi Agarwala has less than a year to save for a month-long trip to Europe. Can she do it?
Hi guys, and thanks for joining us on Bloomberg Quint Live. I'm Alex Matthew and this is Portfolio. Today's very special guest is Aditi Agarwala. She wants to save money for a trip to Europe that she wants to take a year from now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get into the details of that conversation, but to help us out and to help Aditi per se is Karthik Jhaveri, who is a director at Transcend Consulting. Let's get straight into this conversation. A year from now, you want to travel to Europe. What, approximately 3 to 5 lakhs is what you need for
this?
this?
I think it's about fair to expect about 3 to 5 lakhs. And that's typically. It's also dependent upon how luxurious or how enjoyable and how long you want your holiday to be.
So how long?
In fact, I would want to probably cover the entire bit of Europe.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So that's quite a
long, detailed trip. Maybe a month.
You're sort of expecting about a month or so.
Yeah, a month or so.
Yeah. So it's going to be more than, so say...
Easily about 8 to 10 lakhs, I think.
10 lakhs is what
expensive,
you would say?
Europe isn't cheap because you're going to move around everywhere.
Right.
You may not get the student discounts to travel
I know. So maybe I need to do with the motels.
No, I'm sure you don't want to backpack
Well, sometimes it's nice to do that in the interiors of Europe, but in the larger cities you don't want to go to motels because then they are very far off and you don't really, even from a safety point of view, especially Eastern Europe and things like that. So you want to stick with the known names of hotels. You don't want to stay in the 7 stars, but well, at least a decent 4 star.
I would want to understand that how much of money I need to save and where all investments I can do that.
Assume that she needs to save between 5
lakhs.
Yeah, so let's say 5 lakhs, okay? What we'll do is we'll work on both the estimates. We'll work on 5 lakhs as well as we'll work on 10 lakhs.
Okay.
Let's budget for 10. All right. And if you save something, of course, you can spend it to buy that Swiss watch, or you can shop around a little bit, or you can just use it for your next holiday. So let's go with that sort of a plan in mind. And we can even plan a holiday for 2020. It's always better to provide for more, just in case, that kind of stuff. So see, ballpark, because it's a year's time, right?
Right.
So the strategy is very straightforward. We don't have to do very complicated things. We don't have to go into complicated portfolio strategies. It's just a very simple, easy to understand short-term bond fund, or which is known as a liquid fund.
Okay.
All right. You can do a monthly investment. It's very similar to your recurring deposit, things that people normally do into bonds. So this is like a deposit, but through a mutual fund of that sort. So advantages, you get a little better than what you would get in your 1-year FD. The numbers that you should think about is 40,000 or 80,000. So 40,000 saved for 12 months is almost 4,80,000. Little bit of interest that you will get, and you'll reach 5 lakhs of a target that we want to have within a year. And if we save 80,000, then obviously we reach to about 10 lakhs or so.
You have investments that you've made so far.
Right.
But if you consider from this point on, for the next year, she has enough and more to save.
So to say, yeah, in a way, she's got a couple of, about 1,30,000 in a mutual fund, 50,000 equities. So in some sense, yeah, there is money, but I am actually a little disappointed with this amount because... I
must say, certified financial planners always are.
Yeah, because but we need to spend on our weekends and then take short trips over our holidays.
Planning is not about compromising. Planning, as the word suggests, is about planning to have more than what you can possibly get.
Okay.
So compromising is a word that does not exist in this planning vocabulary. So you spend on what you want. What you need to do is, if you can follow a very simple thumb rule, can you put away 1/3 of your money at least and do something about it? Can you imagine, with your age, by the time you retire, even if you put a 1/3 of this money, which is about 50,000 rupees a month, by the time you're nearing retirement, you'll have like 15 or 18 crores of corpus with you.
Wow.
Which is astonishing. Your holidays are paid for free for the rest of your life.
Really?
I mean, seriously.
No, I'm pretty sure that even if you account for inflation, 18 crores is more than you would require for your retirement. I'm pretty sure of that. I can, I'm no expert, obviously. I've got Karthik here, but
that's the whole idea. See, that's where the power of compounding, the power of a good investment starts serving you over a period of time. Because right now, what you're doing is you're putting a very nominal amount of money, and you're thinking, okay, let me do it because I have to do it, or maybe you've done it from a tax-saving point of view.
Yeah, we generally do it from a tax-saving point of view, just like the 1.5 lakhs that we do.
Yeah, exactly.
You've said that your monthly expenses are 40,000,
right?
All right. How about you assume that they're slightly more than that, Karthik? Because obviously you have lumpy, for example, travel and all of that.
And then to just add that I'm getting engaged by the end of this month, and then getting married.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay.
And getting married by the end of the year. And then, you cannot stop splurging when you are getting married.
So there are going to be a lot of
lumpy
expenses. Yes.
Having said that, to set her on the path, Aditi, I'm sure you want to know how to achieve that 18 crore or that 20 crore.
Absolutely.
1/3 is a good thumb rule to have.
Absolutely.
So how does she invest that? In what proportion? So assume that of her approximately 19 lakh of available income,
yes,
1/3 is what she's going to be saving. How does she, allocate that?
So say 1/3, on a very ballpark basis, about 6-7 lakhs of rupees out of your annual income, right? That's about 1/3. So think about that as an investment of 50,000 rupees happening every month. 50 to 60,000 rupees. Now that 50 to 60,000, obviously we don't want to put into something like a PPF, or we don't even want to put it into liquid funds, because these are going to get you only about 6-7% rate of returns, right? We want it to grow. We want your money to multiply, and we want to target about 14 to 15% rate of returns. So we want to get a much higher rate of return. To do that, we have to go to the equity market. Right. Once we do that, there are a lot of categories there also. We don't also want to put all our money into, say, banking, or we don't want to put all our money into one specific area. We want to spread that around as well. So we'll pick up a little bit of blue chips, say maybe 30% of that money. Say, for example, 20,000 of money could go into a blue chip fund. Another 20,000 could go into what is known as a mid cap and a small cap fund. Another 20,000 could be split into two parts, and we could go into banking, we could go into FMCG. So we could have these 4 little themes running for us, and we keep doing an SIP, keep doing a monthly investment into these things, and keep watching our money multiply.
No balanced advantage fund? That's what seemingly a lot of
absolutely not recommended for her, because there is no such responsibility. There's only one visible goal which is happening, or rather two. One is the European holiday, and the other is, now she's told us that she'd like to collect a little bit of fund for her wedding as well. But what I see is, or rather what I am assuming is, that if you're spending only about 40,000 typically a month, which means about 5 lakhs a year, you still have the potential to about, say, 14 lakhs odd rupees. And we are only talking about 6 lakhs for your future. Which means there's an 8 lakh investment right now, which could also help you in your wedding over a period of time. You could sort of accumulate that. You could maybe do another 60-70,000 rupees there every month, and come to about 7 to 8 lakhs, which could be your wedding corpus for whatever you want to spend on clothes, maybe traveling, maybe whatever else it is, jewelry, etc.
So I have a suggestion for you. We've helped you with regard to planning your short-term goal. You're going to get married in a short while at the end of the year.
Right.
Why don't you come back onto this show a year from now, so that you can plan your investments as a couple?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
That's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
Thank you so much for joining us on Portfolio. Karthik, so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for helping Aditi plan her trip to Europe. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Portfolio. It's quite possible that this conversation would have helped you as well. But quick reminder before we end, though, if you'd like to participate, you can write in to us on portfolio@bloombergquint.com, and our team will get in touch with you. Thanks so much for watching. This is Bloomberg Quint.
The conversation and advice dispensed by the financial advisors on Bloomberg Quint's television show Portfolio aims at giving the guests on the show a broad approach toward their finances. The advice is not a full financial plan. Viewers are advised to work with a financial planner for specific products, choice and execution when making an independent decision regarding investments or acting on any advice. Any calculated projections or any predictions given on Bloomberg Quint's platform during the show are not guaranteed and are merely an expression of opinion and are not intended for other than illustration purposes only. No view mentioned on the program is personal advice to anyone. Bloomberg Quint is not responsible for any risk or loss that might occur as a result of placing this information into action in any way, and regardless of your interpretation of the advice.